Good Monday morning, Jet fans. It's about 7:40 or so. Week 3 wrapping up tonight. Bears at Redskins. And unfortunately for Jet fans, Week 3 had the same results as Week 1 and 2. But before we jump into the Jets, let's jump around the league where other teams had backup quarterbacks and see how they did. Carolina won. They actually looked a lot better without Cam Newton on the field. Pittsburgh lost of their game. They were in it. They were down 20. They lost 28-24, I believe. The Dolphins lost in a game that they were in early in the second quarter, down 10-6, deep in Dallas territory. They fumbled, and it seemed at that point they just couldn't catch up and wound up losing 30-6. Teddy Bridgewater, the Saints, filling in for Drew Brees, won. Eli Manning, the era Eli Manning ended this week. People were saying, oh, he may come in because they don't know how Daniel Jones is going to do. Daniel Jones played a great game. He had some flaws. He threw some bad passes. But he led this team. They were once down by 18. He took them back on a 4th and goal, excuse me, with no timeouts left. And I want to say less than a minute or so. I'm not sure. Maybe it was a little bit more. I'm not sure what it was. He scrambled for the touchdown, got the game tied. Their extra point gave him the lead, and the Giant defense wanted to give the game right back to the Bucs because the Bucs went all the way downfield, got inside the 10, and this is where you see a coach out-coach himself. Bruce Arians took a delay of game penalty on the potential game-winning field goal with a few seconds left on the clock, and field goal kicker missed it to the right, and the Giants won. Arians was asked why he took that delay of game, what happened, and he said he felt his field goal kicker was better off 5 yards better. He was more accurate. 5 yards in, he hits that and they win. And the story is how the Giant defense gave up this game. Well, the story is still how Daniel Jones played because he led this team. Even if he was rattled, he didn't show it. He didn't show it much. He led. He played hard. He made some bad decisions, not many. Made a lot of good decisions. And if he could play like this for the rest of his career, then this regime looks like they made another genius pick with a quarterback. So, the Giants actually stole the headlines this weekend because the headline would have been a miserable, dismal write-up on the Jets. And they're still going to be there, but at least the Giant headline takes away from how bad we were. And we were bad. So the Jets are 23-point underdogs going into Foxborough when they haven't won since the playoffs in 2011, January 2011. And I think they beat the Patriots only once since then. Or twice since then, I believe. And they don't have their starting quarterback. They don't have Demaryius Thomas, which we traded with the Patriots, and I still think that Bill Belichick knew he was damaged goods. They don't have C.J. Mosley, middle linebacker. They don't have a lot of their defense on the field. They don't have their tight end Chris Herndon, who is going to miss one more game with a suspension. Of course, their offensive line has looked crappy all year. And they're going against a team that's given up a touchdown in 2 full games. And you know what? The defense hasn't still given up a touchdown in 3 full games. The first 3 possessions the Patriots had, they scored touchdowns. They were up 20-0. The first 4 or 6 possessions the Jets had, they punted. And I believe they were all 3-and-outs. They cannot get to Brady. I think they hit Brady 3 times the whole game. I think... I want to say at one point, Leonard Williams knocked down Brady, got called for roughing the passer, and he actually helped Brady up and gave him a pat on the head. I don't get that. Listen, I'm all for sportsmanship. I'm all for you're not out to hurt the guy. I'm all for, hey, the guy needs help getting up if he's injured or what. You just took a shot at him. You got called for a late hit. You got called for roughing, and then you help him up. Get up and go back, because you know what? Leonard Williams should be on a milk carton because nobody can find him. When the game starts, nobody can find him. I don't know where he is. He has not gotten to the quarterback. Very few pressures, and each season this has been the um, same discussion. We have a defensive line that cannot get to the quarterback. We have linebackers who can't get there. The story this year was C.J. Mosley's going to take a lot of pressure off of Leo. Leo's going to get to the quarterback. That's an excuse now. We're 2.5 weeks without C.J. Mosley. So, Jets' offensive plan, or lack thereof, was horrible. It was basically 90% of feed the ball to your running back. Le'Veon Bell, who hasn't played in over a year, who you gave $65 million to, who didn't play in the preseason, you're just feeding him the rock. You're going to wear this guy out. It's week 3, and he needs a bye already because there's no other offensive weapons that they're utilizing because I think they're scared because of their quarterback. I think Gase wanted his game plan to be as simple for his quarterback, which is good. Make it simple, but make it simple passes also. Make it, slants. Make it, some passes in the flat. Mix it up a little bit. Be creative. The most creative they got was instead of feeding the ball to Bell left, right, or center, they had Bell take a wildcat snap a few times and then hand it off to Montgomery or run it on his own. You're not fooling anybody. Nobody thinks Bell's going to throw the ball. When Rex was here, and I hate to go back to them, they had a special teams player. I can't remember his name. He was great on kickoff returns. He was a quarterback at one point, and he would run a wildcat, but then all of a sudden, after running a wildcat 4 or 5 times, he'd throw the ball. So you got to have an element of surprise. You have to try to catch them with doing something they think you're going to do with the opposite of what you're going to do. There's no game plan. And offensive line, ridiculous. The center, Khalil, who came out of retirement, maybe, that was a mistake on your part. I know everybody was excited. I was excited to have him. We thought maybe he'd anchor this offensive line, and he can't. And he hasn't at this point. Bad penalties. And then when you get a break, you get a penalty against the New England offensive side of the ball, and you have a 3rd and 22, and then you give up a tremendous play. It's mind-boggling, and it's frustrating, because you ask any Jet fan, the joke was, we didn't kill this week, but deep in our hearts, we wanted to steal this game. We wanted to. No, what if we pull this game off? That just turns everything around. And we didn't even come close. Down 20-0. I think, and let me rewind. First drive of the game, the Jets, I think, got past midfield, or got close to midfield. And everybody was saying, what a moral victory. What moral victory? You don't get points for getting a drive past midfield when you start on the 25. Come on. But, you put points on the board. A moral victory would be yesterday if the Giants lost on that last-minute field goal, because now you see what your offense can do, but your defense let you down. That's a moral victory. Down by 18, you take the lead, but then 2 big plays and the field goal kick gets a chip shot. No. That's a moral victory. Not, we got past midfield, that's really good. No, because why bother showing up? Julian Edelman got hurt early or late in the second, in the first half. It was just before halftime, I believe. Or else he would have ripped up the Jets for more yardage. The Jets were down, I believe it was 30-0, and a rookie punt returner muffed the punt, and the Jets pounced on it in the end zone, and we got 30-7. And now you're like, now in your head you're like, all right, we got to get to, whatever. We got 1 touchdown, but I wasn't even excited about that. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, and I could not believe what I saw, Brady gets pulled from the game. And I don't think it's because that Belichick feels the defense is getting to him. I think he feels that our offense can't score. and and ironically, they showed a fake spike from 1994 with Dan Marino and the Jets, game that I was at. Another heartbreaking loss. Um, but now they pull Brady out. His backup comes in, and his backup throws a pick to Jamal Adams, and Jamal Adams runs in for a touchdown. Now it's 30-14. Now I'm not saying the Jets are going to come back with 16 points because I think there was like 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter. But you take those first 6 possessions that they punted on, and you score 3 field goals. Now it's 30-23 with the extra 9 points you have. Now you're in this game. You take the first 6 possessions and you score a touchdown, it's 30-21. And you're in this game with a field goal and a touchdown. You get to Brady on 3rd and 22 and you stop him. And now it's 23. Or it's 26 because they hit a field goal, they don't hit a touchdown. That's a whole different dimension of the game. And what do you think happens the next time the Patriots get the ball? Tom Brady comes out. Belichick, at this point, felt, number one, his quarterback gave up the points. His backup quarterback gave the Jets 7 points. Got them within 16. Now, yes, even if the Jets pull off the 2 touchdown comeback, that's 2 2-point conversions I have to get. It is, just the odds are not in our favor. But the chances were there. If the Jets score early, or once or twice in the first half, but also if the Jets score once or twice in the first half, Brady probably is not pulled from that game. But at least your offense put some points on the board. The Jets have 1 offensive touchdown in the whole season. Okay? Le'Veon Bell, touchdown, 2-point conversion. They have 2 defensive touchdowns and a safety. And their special teams has a touchdown now on the punt. So special teams and offense have the same amount of touchdowns. Defense has 1 more touchdown and a safety against this offense. And let me tell you, the defense has not impressed me. So in the end, 30-16. It could have been 50-16. It could have been 21-0. I honestly think that Belichick didn't take his foot off the gas, but he maybe mixed up some plays. And, the Patriots did punt a few times, but 30-16, 0-3. So, as a Jet fan, what do you look for? Well, first thing I did was I went to the post game. And during the game, I read Twitter when they're away. At home games, I usually don't, but at post game, during away games, if I'm watching on TV, I read Twitter. And it's just doom and gloom. And that's how we feel. It's, Brady could, bake bread, and cut it up and butter it and hand it out and then throw his pass. That's how much time he had. And then, you read all these comments and then the people talk about the draft. It's not even October, you're talking about the draft. That's what's just so disheartening. Week 3, you're in the 3rd week of September. Basically, it is still summer. Fall is at 3:40, or was at 3:40 last night. I forgot when fall happened. So you're in the summer still. This was a team that we were talking about, maybe they pull a wild card and, they get a playoff appearance and Donald gets postseason experience. So now it's, when is the draft? Yes, this team does not have Quincy and Nunwa, but they haven't had a Nunwa, in 2 weeks. They're just falling apart. I don't know what Gase is going to do. I don't know what Joe Douglas is going to do. I had a lot of faith with Joe Douglas. I thought he was smart. I didn't like the way McCagnon was let go. I didn't like the way they had McCagnon run our draft. Even though, we got Quinton Williams, who hasn't, shown us anything really because he got hurt in the first game. So I'm not going to say the draft was a bust, but how do you have somebody run your team, run your draft, and then bring somebody else in? That's like having a business plan, a fiscal business plan, uh, and you get a new controller and a new, CEO after they put the business plan in place, after they hire what they want to hire, when they put their culture into the company. That just doesn't make sense. I think Joe Douglas has a good football sense, football knowledge. I think he'll make good moves. Now he has to start earning my respect. You gonna get us a wide receiver? You gonna get us somebody to anchor down this offensive line? That Khalil signing I thought was gonna be the a great move. I think he's just old. I think he's getting beat. So 30-6. The score could have been, like I said, the score doesn't. They lost by 14 in a 23-point spread. The score does not represent the game. The Jets were manhandled the whole game. Make no bones about it. Offensively, defensively, manhandled. The quarterback, Falk, how do you judge him when he's always fixing his helmet because he's getting knocked around? He made a few nice passes, not many. I was told a few times, look at his pocket presence. Okay, that's something that you can hold on to. But he just didn't show me anything. Now, I'm not saying if Sam Darnold's back there, we win this game yesterday. I'm not saying if Quincy Goodwin's out there, we win this game yesterday, because it all stops up front on both sides of the ball, and we don't have it right now. So unless you have a quarterback who's mobile and is going to run out of the pocket, and yes, Donald does do that, but he can't be running for his life. You're not going to have any success. Tom Brady has that offensive line. Two things are going to happen. Or two things can happen. First thing is he's going to be running for his life, and he does a lot like pressure. Or two, Bill Belichick is going to fix that offensive line and adjust. And that's what we need to do. So they're at the bye, and they're speaking to Jamal Adams, in the post game in his locker. And you can see he's down. And he said that he didn't like to buy this early, but now it's at a good time. It's a time where they could regroup, they could get themselves together and try to come out. Week 5 would be their 4th game, and they have a 13-game season to salvage. That's great to hear. We have to see if they do it. Because again, Donald coming back is not the okay. He's back. It's not going to fix everything. Donald coming back maybe makes the defense think that he's going to throw the ball more than Falk or than Trevor Siemian. But the game plan is always going to revolve around Le'Veon Bell unless you get legit wide receiver threats. I love Crowder. I think he's a great slot receiver. I think with Crowder, it takes some pressure off of Robbie Anderson. It opens him up. I think when Herndon comes back in, it takes a lot more pressure off. But Herndon doesn't come until game 5. This Jet team, on their bye, should not have a week off to relax. The coaches should be adjusting, not even game planning. Forget about game planning against the Eagles till next week, but adjusting, trying to fix, looking for key pieces to put back into place, looking for replacement pieces, because this is just not a team that's going anywhere. Last week I spoke to somebody, everybody always has their opinions when the team is losing. I love it. Oh, how about them Jets? And then when they're doing well, it's a different tune. But somebody said, "Oh, they're not going to win 4 games." I after Donald got hurt or got sick, and we went into week 2, I said, we'd win maybe 6 games because you didn't know how long Donald was going to be out. You didn't know how long Mosley and Williams would be out. Maybe 4 games is our limit this year. We go 4-12 again. Because now my concern is back to the coach as well. You know, and I was big on the Greg Williams signing as defensive coach, but either he doesn't have the right pieces or they're not responding. I would not be surprised if Leonard Williams is traded for draft picks or for 4 pieces this year. That's, you know, the only thing I can say, it's been a rough 3 weeks. You regroup. As fans, you recharge your battery also. Because now you have a week of who they're preparing for. What's it? You have a week of, okay, is Donald back? Is Donald back in practice? Is Mosley practicing? Is Quentin Williams practicing? You know, is there a receiver out there we can pick up? Is there a safety we can pick up? Is there a DB we can pick up? 3 weeks ago, our worst, fear was, hey, we have a field goal kicker. You know what? We don't need a field goal kicker because we can't get close enough to kick a field goal. Yesterday we had 2 extra points kicked because a backup threw an interception and a rookie dropped off the punt. So that's what we are, Jet fans. 30-14, 0-3. Bills and the Patriots tied atop the AFC East, both 3-0. They face each other this week. The Jets are off, and let's try to regroup. I will have probably a video towards the end of the week. I won't have a predicted video, obviously, because we're not playing anybody. We have a bye week. The joke will be this week, hey, the Jets aren't going to lose. It's not funny. But I may put a video together if anything happens with progress of any of the injured players or news on any injured players going forward, or even, and I highly doubt it, any type of coaching changes or trades. The past has shown since the Johnsons took over, Woody took over back in 99, 2000, that they keep their coaches, give them the benefit. Al Groh resigned after the first year. Herb was with the Jets, I think, 5 seasons until he went to Kansas City. Mangini was with the Jets 3 seasons. And I honestly think the only reason why Mangini was let go was they were 9-2, 9-3 with Brett Favre, and ended up 9-7 and losing to the Miami Dolphins, losing the division with Chad Pennington as their quarterback, and I think that's why he got fired. Rex was here from the 2009 season to the 2014 season. I honestly think, again, they loved Rex. They were trying to do anything to get him the pieces to get him over that hump. Regardless if the first 2 years were a fluke or not, he had the team believing. Players still say that he had the team believing. So the next 2 years when they didn't make the playoffs, I think wasn't even an afterthought. But then after that, I think him losing Sanchez, him losing, trying to think who else he had, gave him the benefit of the doubt, and then it just got to the point where they had to go. And Idzik and him were gone. I mean, he went through 3 offensive coordinators. He had 3 different quarterbacks. They drafted with him Sanchez, Geno Smith, and they brought in Tim Tebow. So the Johnsons are quick to cut a coach. I think they look at it and say, he didn't have their starting quarterback. He didn't have their first round pick with Quentin Williams. They don't have Mosley. Field goal kicker was hurt, so I don't think there's any chance that he gets dropped during the bye week or any time during the season. But, with this team, you never know. So, okay, Jet fans, have a great week. First week of fall. Football in New York is back to the Giants stealing the headlines, which I'm fine with. You know, we don't need the headlines. We don't need the press. And let's see what happens on our week off. And we come back. We're at Philly in 2 weeks. Thanks. Have a great day. www.nyjetstories.com, www.nyjetstories.com. On Twitter, our handle is at NYJetStories. On Facebook, Facebook page NYJetStories. Have a great day.